1, 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me? What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Boom. Just entered the room. We here. All right. So anybody that's out there and listening right now, welcome to Pontiac WYAC. We are doing a new show, and let's go ahead and let me go ahead and get to my audio section right here. Let me turn me down. Okay, here we go. Welcome. So right now we are here and we live tonight, and we're going to be opening up the phone lines tonight, and we're going to be talking to whoever who wants to talk tonight. But we're going to talk about a couple of issues and some things that's been going on. We're going to open up the phone lines, and we're going to let you guys, if you want to call in, you can call in. We're going to give you that privilege. If you want to actually join the show, you can go ahead and join the show. But again, if you're watching from YouTube or from Facebook, I am on YouTube, Pontiac Sante. That is Pontiac Sante. We're actually also on good old TikTok at the moment too. We're doing something a little bit different. We're going through the desktop. We're doing some things right here. We're doing some things a little bit different. We're not only just on that. So the people on TikTok that see, go ahead and look at Asante Lucas over there on Facebook. For the people that's watching on YouTube and the people that's watching on TikTok, you can chime in, watch, and comment and share. Your TikTok comments will be on TikTok, of course, and your Facebook will be on Facebook and YouTube. I will be able to bring in comments if that is to be what's going to happen, so you guys can see that. Before we go ahead and start, we're going to go ahead and give a shout out to the sponsor for tonight. The sponsor is none other than the pod. We're live streamed to all of your major platforms at the same time. The pod, get maximum exposure. You can go to Twitter. You can go to TikTok, or no, better known as X. You can go to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube all at the same time. You can do that. And not only that, you can get pro reels. We're doing stuff like pro reels where you can go ahead and have your show, get some hot reels, go about your business, and get your bank up. So we're going to do it like that, and we keep it like that. So hopefully everybody can hear pretty good. And we're going to talk tonight about a couple things that's plaguing our community, man. I'm going to tell you, this is breaking news. What's happening in Chicago? The Chicago youth are out of doggone control. It is ridiculous. It is more than ridiculous. Put it like that. It is sad. I seen a little bit about it. I seen a little bit where we were, I was out earlier taking care of some business, and I kept hearing about the story over and over and over again. And I'm like, yo, I got to see what this is about. So let me go ahead and be abreast and checking out the news or whatever the case may be. My man got a doggone Detroit jacket on. But I'm like, let me go ahead and check out and see what this is all about. What's going on? And lo and behold, what's going on in TikTok? What's up, Preacher Man? What's up, JJ Cruz over there in TikTok? Hey, we on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Next, we're going to bring on, what's the name? So, yeah, bring your comments, man. Bring your comments, all the above. What's going on? And, hey, I'd just like to see everybody pop in. We're going to talk about what was going on in Chicago. Hopefully, y'all can hear me good. Somebody give me a thumbs up, anybody that can. But this is some bullshit, y'all. I'm going to be honest with you. This is some bullshit that I saw that happen. with the lady. I don't know what the kids did to deserve that, but nothing. When you got 30 kids ganging up, you got 30 kids ganging up on one kid. Not only just one kid, the mother. You know what I mean? It's so uncalled for. It's, and then now you got people up there calling. You got people up there calling for Trump to go ahead and bring the National Guard to Chicago. I'm with him. Chicago out of control, y'all. And I don't care what nobody say. Now these parents need to be thrown in the jail. Quite honest. If you let your kids go and terrorize other kids, and also this is not even the school districts or the school responsibility. It seems like they're trying to put the onus on the responsibility of what happened on the school. They ain't got nothing to do with the school. Nothing at all. Nothing to do with the school at all. This come down to parenting. Then I seen some whack ass or some low ass. What's happening, Miss Regina? Yeah, I am good. I am good. So, yeah, we talking about a couple things. These Chicago youth is out of damn control. For real. But I seen where they had some half-ass apologies from the parents talking about, you know better than this. But I'm going to go ahead and play the clip. So I'm going to go ahead and start this up over again. By the way, we on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at the same time, people. So please, if you feel free, just feel free to join in, put your comment in. We listening. I'm listening. I will put your comment up if I can. If I see it, we'll put it up. But let's go ahead and follow this story, and let's take it from the beginning, and let's hear what they got to say about all of this. Let's listen.
It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence. Dragging the mother and her son to the ground, continuously beating them.
These children don't have to live with this for the rest of their lives. And the children are our future, so it's not fair.
Police say it started when the 33-year-old...
This ain't my future, dog. This ain't my future. That's some bullshit. These parents need to be put their ass in fucking jail, y'all. And I'm tired of everybody. Dog, I'm going to just get to it. Let me go ahead and play. What's up, Miss Wins?
Mother, her young son, and daughter were walking near 106 and Bensley in the South Deering neighborhood. A group of kids then started chasing after them, calling them names and taunting them. Both the mother and son were beaten so badly they were taken to a hospital. Word of the attack spread quickly on social media, causing outrage among many parents. One day after the attack, demonstrators showed up at Orville T. Bright Elementary School after some posted on social media threatening to harm the children behind the attack.
Now, straight up, I know they kids, but they should have got threatened to fucking get harmed. You got 30 kids trying to jump one kid and a mama? What happened to even, look, when I hate to sound like I'm getting old, but we getting old, whatever, but that's just common sense. You got 30 kids up there. When you see somebody with their parents, you ain't even deal with them. You ain't even mess with them. You didn't even try to fight. They with moms, they with pops, or granny, whoever, whatever the case may be. But now, let's go on with the story.
Several police officers showed up blocking the entrance of the school to protect kids inside. Shanice Davis lives in the neighborhood and says she recognizes the attackers.
This is not the first time the kids have done this. Just talk around the streets that these kids have.
So this ain't the first time that these kids have done this. So these badass kids been walking around terrorizing the neighborhood. Doing this ain't the first time. This is the first time somebody this been brought out. That it was this blatant. This is crazy.
Pretty much been raising themselves, and they have not been held accountable. They have vandalized cars. They have harassed adults and children.
To know and to find out even now that other families are affected by this. We're meeting families out here that their children been bullied and been beat on.
Chicago Police District Council member Joseph Williams was inside talking with the principal, the mother, and CPS administration.
Accountability is going to be key, because if this has been going on, we need to make sure that principal be held accountable.
Okay. Where and why is the principal being held accountable? You see, us as a community, for real, y'all, this is where we messing up at. This is where we messing up at. What the hell does the principal got to do with this situation? This happened with a lady walking her kids to school. Oh, I'm gonna go here. I didn't even see. Hey, good evening from YouTube. So sad. Yep. Boom. All right, I'm getting all your comments now. The mom reported it to the school and her son was being bullied for the last couple of years. Yeah, okay, I get that. Cool. It's the parent's job though. It's the parent's responsibility. If my kid's doing something, at the end of the day, it's my responsibility of what they're doing. Now, if it happened on school grounds, then I can see something. But this was out of the jurisdiction of the school, wasn't on the school ground. This was while kids and the mother was walking themselves or walking to school. Wasn't in the jurisdiction of the school at all. So that's why I'm saying that this dude right here, this is what's wrong with our community. We like to place blame on everything else besides the parents. And if you're looking at, oh man, what I'm about to say, let me go ahead and not say that right quick. Let's go ahead and listen.
For her actions as well. This should have been documented. Parents should have been called to the school, and we got to make sure all around that is some type of accountability that's happening here.
It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence. Dragging the mother and her son to the ground, continuously beating them.
These children don't have to live.
So at the end of the day, it's not the school's responsibility. At the end of the day, it's the responsibility of the parents. It's the responsibility of those kids and those who should be held responsible. Now, if it happened on the school grounds, absolutely. But look, at the end of the day, y'all, that's what's really going on with our community in a nutshell. I think we scapegoat too many things that we got control over. And that's why a lot of different other communities don't respect us or don't look at us as viable counterparts. What you say, Ms. Monique? But the parents didn't know and the school knew the kids was bullying. It said, my man just said not too long ago that it was being reported. Let's go back to what he said. Right here. Go back and play this.
Children.
To know and to find out even now that other families are affected by this. We're meeting families out here that their children been bullied and been beat on.
Chicago Police District.
So it's been reported. But families to the school, to the parents. The school told the parents.
Council member Joseph Williams was inside talking with the principal, the mother, and CPS administration.
Accountability is going to be key because if this has been going on, we need to make sure that principal be held accountable for her actions as well. This should have been documented. Parents should have been called to the school.
Now, these parents knew what these kids was doing. And if you don't know your parent, look, I mean, at the end of the day, we know that, our kids going to be doing a lot of stuff that we didn't know. My mom and my grandma didn't know a lot of stuff that I did on the real. But if listen, word around the street, the lady said they've been running around unsupervised for a long time, that these bunch of kids. What this lady just say, I mean, I can't give nobody a pass. These parents knew what was going on.
They were taken to a hospital. Word of the attack spread quickly on social media, causing outrage among many parents. One day after the attack, demonstrators showed up at Orville T. Bright Elementary School after some posted on social media threatening to harm the children behind the attack. Several police officers showed up blocking the entrance of the school to protect kids inside. Shanice Davis lives in the neighborhood and says she recognizes the attackers.
This is not the first time the kids.
So these parents should be held accountable and some repercussion. And I suggest jail time and some and I don't suggest jail to nobody. But at the end of the day, man, that was uncalled for. You got to put a hard line to this. This is why Chicago is going crazy. This is why Chicago is the pits. I mean, at the end of the day, it's out of control. Kids running wild, running rampant. And Chicago was just, all we hearing is crazy stories about Chicago and what's going on. And the kids is running wild. And it's younger and younger. These kids was 8, 9. years old, they were saying, yes, they should be held accountable to school as well. Okay, it's some shared probably responsibility, but the majority of it is the parents' fault. Because you raising kids like this. But it said, like my man said on here, or what this woman said, these kids been running around here like this for a while. What she just said? Hold on.
You know, just talk around the streets that these kids have pretty much been raising themselves and they have not been held accountable.
Word on the streets that these kids been just raising themselves. That's what it said right here. Word on the street. We know what these motherfuckers doing.
You know, just talk around the streets that these kids have pretty much been raising themselves and they have not been held accountable. They have vandalized cars. They have harassed adults and children.
They have been vandalizing cars. They have been, what you say, hold on, vandalized, hold on, what have they been doing? Let's listen.
Accountable. They have vandalized cars. They have harassed adults.
Harassed adults.
And children.
And children.
To know.
So these little motherfuckers, these gremlins, I don't give a fuck. These kids bad. They've been out here vandalizing cars, scaring the adults and children, and everybody. Now, let's take a look at this. What if this lady, right, was walking her kids to school and she so happened to have a gun on her? What if she had a gun on her? And at the end of the day, 30 kids surround her, start hitting, punching her, and beating her. And she went out and shot one of these kids, or 4 or 5 or 6, 7 of them. What would people would have said then? Is that would have been justifiable homicide? You know, I mean, so she would have been held accountable. So, you know, this is crazy. This is crazy. I mean, but I think this is a microcosm of what our community, the Black community, has come to in a way. Low accountability. We blaming a lot of different entities. School district. Hold on. They should have acted like them kids ain't never did. Yeah. No parent should have to be put in that position. Absolutely not. But I'm thinking Marcus and Monique. Also, if anybody would like to call in, they can. I welcome this. This is the new format of the show, and I'm going to be doing a lot of stories like this. I'm going to be coming, and we're going to be talking about just a new layout, a new format. Now that the election is over with, hard fought campaigns by everybody, I'm going to have more of a show that, you know, brings on a lot of, you know, a lot of stories, different stories, regional, local, national, and things like that. And we're going to be still going with phone calls, and we still are going to have a lot of guests coming on. And it's going to be in this format. I really like this news format, bringing them on a more official, on a more professional level, and things like that. So be looking forward to that. And I want to do this more sooner. I want to just keep the conversation going. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, y'all, I think this is a microcosm of what's going on in our community. Why we're having the problems that we're having. You can call it at 248-905-1128, 248-905-1128. And you can call in. We can talk about it real quickly. If you want to be a guest on the show, all you got to do is let me know in the comments. I'll send you a DM. Either if you're on TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube. You know, let me know. I'll send you the link, and you can pop on the show. You can come on the show. And because like I said, I got some new stuff coming on. I got some new technology. But that's at the end of the day, y'all. That's what us as a people, we blame a lot. And we don't look at ourselves on the inside, in my opinion. We don't look at the inside and say, you know what? We got some things we need to fix internally as a community. Yeah, we probably got the low end of the totem pole on a lot of things. Absolutely. Can't nobody argue with that. for raising these kids with morals and values and a basic compass of thought, a moral compass. That's on the parents, regardless of how poor you was. Mark Bowman, yo, call the my brother, call the line that's on this, call the line that's on here, 248-905-1128. 248-905-1128. My brother Marcus Bowman, I think you're trying to call my personal line. Call 248-905-1128. 248-905-1128. We're going to do this one more time. Or unless he tried to call and it didn't go through. Let's see. Oh, okay. The call not coming through. Okay, we're going to have to do it another way then, brother. All right. We're going to do it this way. Brother, we're going to, I got you. We're going to do it another way. Hold on one second. We got Brother Bowman that's coming on. Let's go ahead and set the phone up again. I think it went off for a second. Let's go ahead and do it again. Hold on one second, Brother Bowman. We're gonna set the phone up. And get it back on. I hate to have a break in the show like that, but let's go ahead and get things right for Brother Bowman. I think the wrong phone line was connected, so let me make sure that we can got you right now. Brother.
Hey,
Brother Bowman, what's going on, man?
Oh man, I understand sometimes it be hard to get through. But
yeah, a little tech.
I had to chime in, man.
For sure, man. What you think about this, man? Like, what's going on? And man, I seen this story. Like, I kept hearing about it. I've been so up and down the last 2 or 3 days. I really didn't get a chance to really kind of sit on it and listen to it and see what happened, man. But this disgusted me, bro.
Yeah, it made me sick to my stomach as well when I saw it. I mean, it's a clear-cut case of, like, it takes a village to raise a child, and you see it all the time on social media. People make random posts about how they try to check somebody's kid and the parent, vilify them for even attempting to put their kid in a better direction.
Mm-hmm.
I just think incidents like this and situations like this, they automatically start spilling over. And us as a Black communities, which I'm real glad that you pointed that out. Us as a Black community, man, we got to do better overall. It's not about an individual thing. It's not about what area you in and what side of town you on. It's about community and strength and uplifting. I think we as a community can't allow things like this to happen anywhere. Chicago, Detroit, Pontiac, anywhere. When something like this happens, now you allow other entities to step in and you give them a reason to apply pressure when you can police or rectify the problem yourself. I like to go back to the strong civil rights movement when the Black Panthers and the Muslims would police their communities, right. They would feed their communities, they would empower their communities. And not to say that it has to be a specific group that does these things. Individuals who have a care and concern for the community can step up and say something. But these kids nowadays have the senior community shook, and then some of the parents in the middle age, they so afraid of the backlash of legal
right.
problems. The legal system protects children more from these incidents, or allow them to get away with these incidents more based off of how the legal system works. And I'm not saying that parents should beat their kids, and I'm not saying that, you know, adults should just vilify and look for this, but it takes a village to raise a child. I remember, you know, listening to your statement. My parents didn't know everything I was doing, but it was always somebody on the block or an older figure that would say, "Hey, young blood, you're going the wrong way."
But they gave you a moral compass too, though. I mean, yeah, you went out and did some things you probably shouldn't have did, but you knew better to do some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and I would always, you know, refer back to the element of fear and respect. You know, my dad was very stern. I was a preacher's kid. So, you know, a lot of things that other kids got away with, I couldn't get away with in my house. So it was always something that I would have to do outside the household. But my father would always tell me, you can either fear me or you can respect me. But one way or the other, you gonna understand that you either gonna take the beating for a hard head here, or you gonna take it in the world. And it's unfortunate, but as the law keeps covering this stuff up and not making it an issue, the older these children get, they get put into that systematic or that systemic system that we want to keep our kids away from. And that's so unfortunate, but you can see it in broad daylight. Those kids won't get tried as adults. They'll get tried as juveniles. So they'll get caught up in that system and get a slap on the wrist, unfortunately. And then the parents are just going to overlook it because it's just going to be like a sigh of relief. Oh, they got through it, and then they let it go. And, you know, we got to make sure that this don't happen again. And I just feel like the one thing in the Black community that people don't speak about, we protest, we march over everything except for the ignorance that holds us back. Yeah. And this is the ignorance that holds us back. And when you get to talking like this, you become a coon, Uncle Tom. You get vilified for, you know, wanting to stand for something that has a moral compass or a level of integrity. And I think us as Black people in America, we got to understand at some point we had a higher level of integrity of how we move the people. We don't start getting back to that mentality, or at least trying to adopt it, the future for the people in my age group and your age group, we're done. By the time we become seniors, you know, you're going to have a bunch of crazy adults out here that's doing that, you know, and it's just, it's unfortunate to see something like this and see it televised, but, you know,
no, we needed, honestly, Brian, we needed to see this. How bad that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
How bad that is. We needed to see this because, I mean, man, bro, sometimes seeing is believing. If somebody would have just said, dog, I wouldn't imagine 30 of our kids is beating up. Somebody would have just said 30 kids beat up a mama and you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have believed that. I would have said, no, it wouldn't have been kind of like that. But that was terrible, man. I mean, Brother Marcus.
We had an incident like that, though. We had an incident like that recently, like I want to say within the past 4 years, where the kids, these gang members was out doing random shootings and random killings and initiation things to get them in these gangs. And I know one lady, older lady, from what I've seen from reports, was assaulted or shot and killed. And it's sad because it happens constantly. And because it happened in Chicago, a bigger city, doesn't mean that it doesn't happen in these smaller cities and trickle down. And we just got to be more aware of it to protect our children and guide them in the right direction so they don't feel the necessity to have to go down that path. And that's just unfortunate.
Have we honestly just gotten to the point, reason that we got to this point is because people just really just don't care about the kids anymore? Because, I mean, the only way that a kid can actually go out and do all these types of things is if they just don't feel like nobody care in the first place. Like, in order, like the lady was saying, these kids were basically raising themselves. And we know a lot of our kids in the inner city communities, they are basically raising themselves. And so have we gotten to the point as a community, as a people, in general, and not individual. We know we got some great parents and great teachers and individuals that take pride in their children and put love. No, they don't have to have a lot of means and access and money in order to raise a good kid. But have we gotten to the point as a society, as far as us as people, black people, got to the point where we really act like we care about the kids, but we just care about ourselves, and these kids are raising themselves, and now we're getting the fruits of our unlabor, put it like that. You know what I'm saying? Is it gotta almost probably be, because who act like this? Why are our kids like this? If I know when I feel like unloved or unwanted as a youngster, or even as an adult, sometimes you act out. And to get that attention.
Yeah, you want the attention. You want the attention. And I think neglect is part of it. And then you got to think about the age brackets in which we lose touch of our children. You know, from the time that they're born up until about 12 or 13 is usually the time that, you know, we have a grip on them. Mm-hmm. And then after 13, 14, it's like even these programs that are set up to keep them in a controlled environment, they kind of phase out of those programs. So it's just adding extra bodies of programming to kind of sustain the times that they're growing. Like I know when we were growing up, we had PAL, we had Boys and Girls Club. We had all of these extra outlets that would add avenues. And a lot of the funding for this, unfortunately, is the biggest key, because you can't overlook the funding for certain aspects of these things. We're losing it in the urban areas, and we don't have anybody really fighting for it. The major issues is always housing. You know, they want to fight for housing, and then when you get the parents that actually get in these positions with the kids, they have to work so hard
just to keep
those houses that they nothing else matters. It's like, you know, back to those saying where I put a roof over your head, I keep clothes on your back. You know, you go back into that mode. But sometimes as parents, you know, we got to step out of it and say, hey, especially in our generation, anybody that was born or raised between 78, 77 and the 90s, you know, that's a different generation where we've seen a lot of things. We've seen the crack epidemic, we've seen the recession, we've seen COVID, and the kids that are coming in the world now and coming to now, they've only seen COVID, and COVID has it eradicated the unity factor in a lot of these communities, because everybody they stopped engaging with each other. And I think that's where we have to get back to as a community, as a culture, as a people. We got to start engaging and having these community gatherings or you know, block parties and family nights and things like that, to kind of bring that culture back to urban areas of unity, where you have more people,
and bring fathers back into the homes and the households, or unity with that. What do you think about that? Because
that's a whole nother story. You know,
well, I mean, what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I look at the history of it, and I look at how legislation have set a standard to where in the Black family, women don't have to rely on the leadership of a man because of the financial aspect. And when you talk about over time in history, mass incarcerations of Black men and what it has done to our society, and a lot of these charges, when I say mass incarcerations, was for things that is legal now, like marijuana. So you take 20 years of separation from these Black families, and then you integrate that with the women that are coming into having a child, and you got generations of mothers and parents actually leaning towards saying, well, hey, you don't need a man and you don't need nobody as long as you got the government that's willing to support you. And I don't have a problem for anybody that needs that, but that was never set up to be a long-term thing. It was set up to be something to get you on your feet so you can integrate into how society is, how a middle-class family is raised and build. But you know, middle-class families don't exist anymore in reality.
But if you really, and you said that's right, I think that's a whole nother discussion, but it all ties in. Like, because what I'm thinking is the degradation of, you know, far as what our kids not having rec centers, not having maybe great facilities to go to after school and extracurricular. That wasn't really, in my observation, the down point of our community, far as our kids and the, you know, it was when the breakdown of the nuclear family was that was what it wasn't had nothing to do. I ain't gonna say that had nothing to do with recreational and other things like that, but I think that contributed. But when we broke down the nuclear family, because I knew, I mean, because I ain't gonna put out family business or whatever, but my moms and pops probably broke up a couple times here and there when I grew up, right? I noticed when my pops bust up for a minute, I got reckless. You know what I'm saying? Like when he was gone, I knew when there wasn't no male figure around, like my uncle or somebody wasn't around, I act stupid. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as they come back, it reins it in. And it's like with our community, like the OGs, people our age, we damn near can't say anything to the youngsters nowadays because they don't got no respect or fear. But we had it. We had respect and fear for the people that was older. But we also had strong male role models because that's what kind of kept the hood in check. That's what kept the household in check. And I believe that a woman can do a lot of things, and she can't do this alone. And this is even with the SNAP and all that whole benefits that we went through. Maybe a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, before things got turned back on, we was kind of seeing how that was going to roll out. People was you kind of saw where people. You kind of know what I'm kind of going with this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you elaborate.
The fear. You've seen the fear and the skepticism and the what people realize, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But the crazy part is about that. You got to realize that was just a taste of probably what's to come, just due to the division that's already in our country. So when you talk about small communities like a Pontiac or urban cities like Chicago and Detroit, you got to take the numbers that work in your favor. These cities are predominantly black. So if black people aren't coming together, they'll never have any type of control or a systematic advantage when it comes to how they raise their kids, the direction that we want to send them. Our blueprint will always be given to us. We'll never set a standard of a blueprint where, like you said, there is no big unks and there is no big homies no more. And a lot of people don't understand how important that is for balance when you talk about going from the urban side or the street side of living to the politics. They all blend in with each other because one is only set up to set rules, standards, and advocate for funding. The other is set up to make sure that is implemented and useful. So when you had a rec center where they wasn't getting the funding, it stayed open because the parents and the homies made sure those kids was going there. You'll get sometimes a local drug dealer in the community that will fund some of these places to make sure, because they didn't have that opportunity, and they'll do it to make sure that these kids have a better chance and a better opportunity. You don't have that anymore. That's been stripped from the black community in so many ways, and now we got to kind of rebrand that and give it a different look. You see it through New Era Detroit with those guys are, you know, and I know I grew up in Detroit. I knew a lot of these guys are all ex-street guys, all ex, you know, felons. These are guys that's like, I don't want to see my community fall under the same circumstances that I had to endure by not listening. Because that's all it boils down to. You know, we get to this point, we like, well, you think about our parents when some of the kids in our generation was wilding out. They wanted to see us get locked up because they figured we wasn't listening to them. So the system would correct us. And it happened. It happened to a percentage of young black men that came out after 20, 30 years realizing, no, that wasn't the way you want to go. So now they're trying to implement that lifestyle now, but we fighting against entities that's bigger than what the problem was then. The problem back then was a racial divide. I mean, it's still, racism is always going to exist because you always have people teaching it, but The bigger issue is, when are we going to come together and not use that as an excuse for us to stay down?
But are we? I don't think we are breeding people. As you see the youth that's coming up, are we even breeding people that's going to come together at this point?
It's hard to do it. It's hard to do it because you got to think about the percentage.
I ain't gonna say breeding, but are we making people that the youngsters, the people that's coming after us, are we making those type of people that's gonna bring a unit? You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at stuff like
you got to teach the parents too. That's it. Yeah, you're right. We got to breed them and teach the parents at the same time.
Damn.
Yeah, it's difficult because you have a looking at the gap. So, and I don't want to get too deep in it, but you look at the gap of youth that you can change. You can't change the ones that's already 17, 18, 19, going into that adulthood. That life has to change them. Yeah. You can only hope to engineer and pour into the ones from 3 years old to about 14 years old and keep them on a path to where they understand the difference between right and wrong, and they understand how to make those conscious decisions based off of what you put in them. I can always remember every time I got into something, I will remember back those sayings.
Yeah.
You sometimes you get your ass into something that you can't get out of. So you got to be careful the choices that you make. We can always make a choice, but we can't pick the consequence. That's just how life works.
Yeah, man. But wow, man, oh my God. Man, I mean, when I think about it, I think about ultimately, you got to reach the firsthand response. You got to really kind of, in order to get these kids, you got to go to the parents because that's the legal way to do it. You can't really touch the kids without the parents being the only way you can get to a kid, unfortunately, is after he get into some bullshit, and now you don't really need the mother or the father to give you carte blanche to the kid because they're in the system at that point. Now you can get to them and whatever, but you got to go through the. But if a kid, I mean, in order to help a kid, you got to go through the parents. But the parents just straight up talk real talk. They fucked up and they don't really care.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, how can you? Bruh, oh my God. It's just frustrating when you think about it, man.
Yeah. But, it's like eating an elephant, man. You got to take one bite at a time. And I like listening to, some of the older, wiser people in our community, and they would always make statements where they say, I start with what I can control the controllables. If you can start on your block and that can expand, or if you can start within a neighborhood system and that can expand, that's how you start, taking bites out of an elephant, and it seems very discouraging when you look at the overall, but if you focus on the positive and the glass half full, you'll accomplish more. And it's always one person at a time. If I was a firefighter or if I was someone that had to go in a burning building, I wouldn't go in that burning building with the anticipation in my mind to save everybody.
Yeah.
I would go in that building with the anticipation, I got to get one person at a time.
Right.
Let me save one person at a time. And that's where it starts. It starts with people taking the initiative to say, hey, I'm wrong for some of the things that I've overlooked. So let me try to be more proactive versus reactive. And let me start with what I have in front of me. If it's a kid that needs help, let me help him as much to get him on his feet or her on her feet in the right direction, and then move to the next one. And that's the only way systematically, unfortunately, that I can see where you can make some impactful changes within communities. But it starts in sectors and areas where you have a major issue. I like to focus on what I know, which is Pontiac at this point, and I look at the numbers, and the numbers being so low of a population, we should be able to make a bigger impact. When I look at a place like Detroit, and mind you, I grew up on the east side of Detroit, the number of people on the east side of Detroit doubles Pontiac twice. So when you look at that mass number, how we can't compete with that. We have to work on what we can now. But when you're talking about in the world and these urban cities, it starts with the leadership. And unfortunately, the leadership, I hate to say it, when you go to some of these old urban cities where the leadership was very, very straightforward and they didn't have any apprehensions on how they govern, that's the start of it. You know, you got to get leaders that's not afraid to govern, to move things forward. It don't matter if you succeed every time. It's about taking the shot. You know, at the end of the day, at the end of the game, somebody got to take the shot. Somebody got to put forth the initiative to win. And we have people sometimes that just overlook it and say, well, hey, that's not my problem, or that's bigger than me.
Right.
And eventually, you know, it all comes to your doorstep at one point in time. One or another, it's going to come to your doorstep. You just got to understand that if you protect and build around you the positive energy that you need to keep things moving forward, you'll see that it'll start making change, you know, like, and I just think it's all about us rebranding our culture and understanding where we come from and looking at where we at now. It's just, we have to take accountability for what we have, where we have fallen to. We've fallen very far as a Black community. Yeah, I don't care nothing about when nobody say, "Oh yeah, we got more money and all this."
Yeah.
No, we're no
that
better
don't even
now.
matter, dog. That don't even matter.
No.
Like when we had less as a people, quote unquote, when
We
had
were
less.
better. Yep.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? And people really think just because you have more resources. So that kind of that's the myth buster right there. More fun.
Yeah.
You need funding. You need a lot of stuff in order to make a community rise and equality. You need that. But that's a myth buster right there, saying that we need more funding, we need this, we need more of this and that. Things are going to be better. No, it comes down to the moral compass and what you're being taught and what your guidelines on life is. You know what I'm saying? I think before like I said, I grew up with not a lot of means. You know what I mean? From this household to that household to grandma's house, sometime back home again, and moms and pops, they broke. But overall, I had a moral compass that they taught me, regardless of what was going on around me. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I knew what to do, what not to do. I knew not to get my ass in too much trouble because I knew I had to answer to a couple of. I wasn't thinking about mama and grandmama. I was thinking about, dang, my daddy and my uncle and you know, I mean, so and so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like that is gone now. There's no accountability for our people, for our children, for our parents, because it seems like our parents, I don't know what's going on, bro. It's like our parents are kids at this point.
Well, they are.
They are.
We went through a phase where kids was having kids at some point.
Yeah.
And that's always been that way, because I like to go through what I know. Like I go back to my own history of my own family. My grandmother had my dad when she was 14.
Oh wow.
So this is not something that just started yesterday.
But even though with that, bro, even though with that, say she had your dad when she was 14, you say?
Yeah.
Even with that situation, she still had a mental she probably was a kid and wasn't fully developed mentally yet, but she still had a moral compass.
Yeah. And families were real families.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the difference, bro.
We were real families then.
Right,
so
right.
It didn't matter, you know, and it's unfortunate because it's like a gift and a curse. Back then, it was, you know, certain things would stay secret and out the way, but it was because of image. It was because, nope, you're not going to make me look bad. You're not going to embarrass the family. You're not going to embarrass the family name. And that was a standard for the Black family for a long time, until we got into a point where we felt like, well, I don't care what nobody think. Where it goes back to that statement, keeping it real goes wrong.
We got a comment.
And we kept it too real.
Right. We got a comment from TikTok. And also people, anybody want to chime in and leave a comment? We got Mr. Marcus Bowman online calling in. Next time we're going to have him come on the screen, you know what I mean? But
I'm with it, man.
Okay.
You know I'm with it, bro. Anytime.
But we got a comment from TikTok, because we're on TikTok also. It says Miss TD Lou 3 says a lot of these parents are just afraid of their kids. That's basically what it comes down to. And I think that's overall a lot. Well, yeah, I know that to be true. You know what I'm saying? It's like
it is
scared
very
of
true.
Yeah, they scared of their kids, bro.
Very true.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with the legal issues. Kids can call the police and say whatever.
Yeah.
And you deal with the court system. The court system, and this is what a lot of people don't understand. The court system is not based off of right or wrong. It's based off of what you can prove or what you can't prove in the eyes of the law. And that sometimes can be skewed a little bit based off of right and wrong, and you see it all the time. If a child is disrespectful in their parents' home, the parent has every right to take an authoritative stance on that situation. But when it becomes to the point where the child feels threatened, because I found out a long time ago, you can point at somebody and that could be considered
a threat.
Battery. Yeah, it could be considered battery. Yes. It's so crazy how the law has these gray areas that can protect things that are not morally right and morally sound for a family. So, it's a lot of entities that come into play. You think about CPS. CPS, unfortunately, was engineered and set up to separate and break up the black family to a certain degree based off of, I grew up in a household where we got whooping.
Yeah.
And before that, it was you got to go out to the backyard and get a switch.
Yeah, you get your own switch.
Get your switch to get your ass whooped.
Right, get your own switch.
Yeah, so these things don't exist no more.
Right.
You do that now, they'll take pictures of that and they'll nail you to the cross for it. And all you really trying to do is just discipline your child so the world won't have
to. I'm gonna tell you some real talk because I can say it now. My kids, 23. Well, 23, 21, and 19. So they all whatever. So when my little boy he was in elementary, man, like 7 and 5 or whatever the case may be. And man, I brought him and his little my son, him and my little daughter got into a fight. I was taking them to school, and they got into a fight over some junk in the back seat or whatever when I was taking them to school. And I popped my son. I said, hey, yo, don't you ever hit your sister. You protect your sister. You don't fight your sister. My son messed around. He being young. He went to school. He was still crying and feelings hurt because of that. And he said something to his teacher, dog. Dog, CPS came to me and I told them. They came with the police. I said, yo, I whip the kids. I do it, and I'm not going to stop. That's how I was raised, and I've never been in trouble. And I'm going to do it so you don't have to do it. And they left me alone. They left me alone, but they was playing Snoopy for a while, though, bro, because it was like, yeah, I'm going to discipline my kids. And I don't care what y'all say about it. If it come down to it, y'all want to call it spankings, I call it whoopings. You know what I'm saying? But either way it go, it's the same results. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and that's bold too. And again, I don't condone abuse.
No,
but discipline and abuse is two different things.
Right.
It's two different things, and a lot of people don't understand that. And then when you add CPS into it, kids are kids. Again, the scariest thing you can do is give an 18-year-old $1 million and expect them to do the right thing.
Right.
Kids don't understand the legalities or the recompense of saying the wrong thing, or not even saying the wrong thing, how they said it. They hear you say it a certain way and they like, well, that's how my dad or my mom said it, but they don't understand it's coming from a disciplinary, place. So when you add another set of eyes or ears to it, now you got somebody else judging you and vilifying you. That 9 times out of 10, a lot of these CPS workers don't even have children.
No.
It's almost like they systematically set it up to where they don't have an emotional attachment or sympathy to understand what the parents are going through.
So they made it to the point where you can't discipline your kids, and now this is what you got at this point. They made it to a point that they made it where you can't parent. Now this is what we got as a society. And like you said, it ain't about what you say. Like you said, it's not about abusing. There's a big difference between discipline and abusing, like you said. But they took that, the state or the feds, however they want to do it, or whatever, wherever the law came down where you can't discipline your kids. And now this is what we got in our cities, in our communities.
Exactly.
And it ain't just black kids.
No, God no, and the Caucasian kids are worse.
Yeah, they're killing.
Worse.
Yeah, they're killing the parents.
Yeah, and that's where I say we can only control what we can control.
Right.
Like I can't say what it's like to be a white parent or a Caucasian parent or a Hispanic parent. Or, I can't say what it's like to be them, nor can they identify with the issues that young black kids would have to endure in this society today. They can't do it. I don't care what they say. They can't. You can't tell me about black problems if you don't experience them. If you don't know what it's like to wake up in the morning smelling a hot comb or know how to make Kool-Aid, like, don't tell me about black problems.
Right.
I'm not saying that you can't be sympathetic to our cause, but it's a difference when it comes to how we need to engineer our family base and our future when it comes to our young children, our young black kids. And today now, I'm glad that things are kind of cleaned up to where you can actually say black without it being a reverse racism thing, because it's not about separation. It's more so about what are we going to do to make sure we take care of us.
Right.
Like, if we're not taking care of us, I mean, and again, this spreads to all people. So I want to be politically correct in saying this. This is not us. We're better than them, or we're don't care about them. It's more so our community is the ones that's being highlighted the most with it. We're the ones that's getting the black eyes from it. So if we're not correcting it and we're not fixing it and identifying it, then there's a major problem when you talk about the makeup of the black family now, so I think that plays a big part. Men being back into the black family is important.
Yeah,
that's a big part. But right now, where we at, I think we have to look at the idea of it takes a village, because sometimes that male figure or the female figure, whatever issues they have, is just unfixable. You can't repair it. So sometimes you need proxies in place. Like what we used to have as children, like you said, you would have an uncle that would come over and talk to you when the dad couldn't get through to you, or an auntie that would come and say, hey, baby, you don't want to be doing that because that's not a good look for you. We don't have that level of mentorship anymore, and even us as parents, the older we get, we got to realize we're still learning. You never stop learning as an adult. So you got to get to the point where you take the initiative and say, I'm a mentee. I'm still learning new ways of handling things in life. So I got to take that approach every time I deal with someone who's younger than me, because they don't know at all if I'm still learning.
Right.
And that's just the way it is, So a lot of it is personal makeup. A lot of it is kind of self-building. A lot of these parents have to look in the mirror too and say, where did I go wrong? Instead of playing the pity party of saying, well, this ain't fair, and I can't get a job, and the government did this to me, and my parents didn't do enough.
Yeah, us as a people, man, we got to get past the point. Even with, we had a hard-fought election with, different seats. Not just in, Pontiac, but around Oakland County and other places nationwide. But, even as with there's new, political people having new seats or retained or whatever the case may be, the onus still comes down to what you're going to do. You know what I mean? As an individual, regardless of who's at the helm of power. It's about what, because we all, God give us, whoever you believe in give us a portion of power over our life and the decisions that we make. And regardless of what politician or whatever anybody does or says or ordinances that they put in, you still have to make life decisions for yourself. And we got to get to the point where we're making better decisions as a individual person. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? And I'm with you, as a collective, as a village, but a village is made of a collective of individuals. So as an individual, we have to check ourselves and look at ourselves like, yo, We got to get our shit together. I got to get myself together in order to be part of this village, because I'm to the point now I don't want everybody in the village. Like, I don't look at it, it's a lot of us and it's whatever, but we ain't in the same village. We ain't in the same tribe in this village. And that's kind of, that's where we at now. It's like, we in the same village, but we in the same tribe.
Then, yeah. That's where we was then. And when you think about the Malcolm and the Martin and the Black Panther movement, and even
different
back
tribes
to
in the village,
of Marcus Garvey, like we were always when we started movements, it was a selective few, elite.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go for everybody. Everybody wasn't able to follow certain movements and be part of certain things.
Right.
And that's unfortunate that that's going to happen. But again, it's like a flock of fish. If you look at how a flock of fish moves, like in fish school,
and synchronization,
when you get the head to move one way, the whole flock follows. So we got to stop looking at the individual aspect of it and going for the right target, that we can manipulate and engineer into a better society. And it's kind of hard to do.
It's hard
when you
to
got
do now.
So many people frustrated with how society is going. I think we need some hope. And unfortunately, in the Black community, the only thing to give us hope is freebies or some form of a check, Damn,
but you done nailed it on the head right there. You know what I mean? You're right. The freebies is for sure. That's
Yeah, if you gave 100,000 Black people something free and said all you had to do is show up and they can get some information out of it, they would show up to get the freebie and probably leave before they get the information. And that's the unfortunate part. So it is a self-development thing, but like I said, it starts at home and it starts with self. Self-growth is a big part of being able to be a solid leader or to be able to tell somebody that they going wrong because you acknowledge where you wrong. And if a man can't master himself, he can never be a leader of anybody else.
True.
So, it's some real deep trauma within our culture and in our community and our people that, we just got to we got to learn to get past it. If you think about it, we're still held hostage over slavery in certain aspects.
Well, slavery is not that long ago. I mean, it's not like it's It's not like it's 1,000 years. Yeah.
Right, but in reality, you think about the gain and loss. I know some people that have been locked up for 15 years and they get over it, and you get what I'm saying. And it's like the same thing. That wasn't that long ago,
right?
Type of thing. So it's just all a matter of a personal outlook. If you allow something to be a problem, it will be a problem for you, and it's just going to continue to grow until you fix it, or not allow it to be a problem for you. And that's where we get into deep waters when you talk about our community, because you break down the economics, you break down to the family structure, you break down to a lot of things, and the kids, they're watching us.
Right.
They're watching the adults. They're watching how we operate, how we move, how we interact. Like I can firsthand tell you, since I've been deeper and deeper in politics, I find that older adults can be more immature and juvenile and more bigger buffoons than any young kid that I've seen, because they don't want to listen. They're stuck in their ways. So that's how sometimes a cancer can spread.
Yeah,
we get caught in these generations to where it turns into a generational curse, because you get a group of people that just get stuck in their ways, and now we got to come back and clean it up and change it the generations under. And unfortunately, it's hard. You only get 5% of our population that's actually woke to what we're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
It's an old saying: great minds speak on ideas and things to make change or create change.
Well, that's why I appreciate brothers like yourself, man, because even though it can look dim sometime and bleak, of course, you know what I mean? I mean, you still got your marching shoes on, man, and you're trying to still make some type of change or a headway for those behind you or those in front of you and behind you. What I mean, and probably age bracket. And or socioeconomic bracket is you don't matter who it is. I could tell I've seen you try to help on those spectrums, man. And yeah, you have the heart for it, and it takes more people like yourself. And I know it get draining. You need more people like yourself because, but there's fewer and fewer and fewer people like yourself. So it's like it's
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So yeah, they no rest for the weary, as they used to say, bro. I mean,
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And it's an old wise tale. It's a couple of them, but
Yeah.
I tell you this: evil prevails when good men do nothing.
yeah, wow. Yeah.
Like when you sit and you watch and you know you got a good heart and good intentions, and you allow something to happen in front of you, you just as much
Guilty, yeah.
a cause to the problem as the problem itself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that, bro. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Man, I got to get you on, man. I don't know what your week looking like or the rest of the week. We at the end now, man. But yeah, maybe one day soon, man, you can get back on live with this, where people see your face, man. Come on. But like I say, I'm going to begin to be coming on a little bit more frequently, God willing, man. And just been a busy end of the year for me, man. And I know it's been a busy last part of the year for you too.
Yeah, nonstop, man. Nonstop.
What's on the what's on the agenda next?
And I'll make time.
Well, what's on the agenda next for you, man? I know it's always something happening.
Man, I'm just grinding, man, working, paying these bills, you know,
I hear that.
Moving forward and doing what I got to do. I ain't stopped, you know, as far as the community efforts that I've been trying to do. I want to put some stuff together to where we could try to get some food for a lot of these families before the holiday. Lord's willing, I'm praying to keep my fingers crossed I can connect the dots. But other than that, man, just moving forward. It's all about forward progression. I can't cry over spilled milk, and I can't stop, you know, whatever my purpose is, I have to just keep going until I get there. And the only thing that's in between me and that is time.
That's it. That's it right there. That's the only thing between you and the goals is time. Things got to happen for that to happen, man. Hey, bro, thanks for calling in, man. I'm about to be signing out in a minute, man. You dropped the wealth of knowledge, man, and dog, you don't know how much I appreciated you for even just calling in, bro, and popping in and just bestowing some of the things that's on your mind. With me and the people that were watching here on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
Oh yeah, for sure. You let me know, man. I'll get on there. We can chop it up.
Yes, sir. Get with you soon.
All right, brother.
One love. Yeah. All right, people. We had right there Mr. Marcus Bowman. Bro, that guy is, you know, he's serious in the city, bro. He's serious in the city. That's all I can say, you know what I mean? He commands respect when you see him too. He's one of those type of fellas, and he's making waves and been making waves, been doing things in and around the city of Pontiac, entrepreneur and into politics. Also a community activist, community leader. I consider him, man. So just a guy that I'm happy that I've got a chance to know a little bit during the last, I say, quarter of the year. Pretty much, we always kind of passed course, kind of just in the people, the common people that we know. But yeah, he's just a guy that I grew to understand. Like he really has a lot of care and love for the city of Pontiac and his people. Period. Just not Pontiac. It's not just about that. You know, just so I. Shout out to him. Thanks for giving a call in. If anybody would like to give a call in before I do check up out of here, today was my inaugural show. I got new set up, and I'm going to give y'all the behind the scenes of how I got this whole joint going now. I got some new stuff happening right now. But right now we're going to TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. The number is 248-905-1128. We were just talking about the Chicago, but anything that you want to call in and talk about real quickly, hey, I accept that. Yeah, you can call in if you would like. But before we do, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor. And our sponsor is, put that on the vent. There we go. The Pod, where you can get maximum exposure. And the Pod is at 43700 Woodward Avenue, Bloomfield Township, where you can get maximum exposure with TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, and YouTube. You can come do your show, live stream, or you can do professional content. We have had everybody, as far as all the major political figures in and around Pontiac, and people that's entrepreneur doing stuff and work with the kids, veterans, doctors, lawyers have been in the pod. Beautician, well, it's been, hey, we didn't held it down. So yeah, bam, there we go. And pro wheels, reels, shorts, TikToks, and next generation of the content marketing. Grow your social media profile and gain followers of your business and personal ventures. Effigy Media Arts Co. Marketing department. So y'all need to get with me on that, because you know what, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna get you to the point where you need to be at. You know what I mean? So I just want to give a shout out to that. Here go the QR code and move my head right there. Y'all can scan that right there. Go ahead and scan that right there. Right. Scan that right there. Scan that right there. You know what I'm saying? Scan that right there. And if you scan this right there right now, that would take you to, well, I don't want you to come off the stream right now, but if you do happen to go off the stream and you strap that, then that'll take you to Effigy Media Arts, the website. And I'm going to tell you about my oh my God, I need to pull my website up, but I will do it the next show. I might come on tomorrow morning, quite honestly, man. I am so proud of my setup, you guys. I'm going to have to tell you about my home studio setup. I have not really used it like I should have lately. But, I getting it together. You know what I mean? I got it together. But, if you go to my website, you'll see that we do live web hostings. So when you have big galas and events, or say you're a DJ, say you're a whatever, and there's whatever you want to have a private live situation, event, or you want it to be far as a person getting a code and they pay for your live event or whatever the case may be, we can do live stream hosting. Live stream hosting. Go to my website, set that whole thing up for you, talk to me, I'm the man for that, all that type of stuff. So I'm going to have more stuff and information when it comes to that, but I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of what I got kind of going on in here, man, because I'm excited about it. I like what I got going on, what I did. I did a lot of cleaning up over the last couple of days, getting some stuff in order. You'll be surprised on what I used to even put this thing together, but I want to tell people and help them, if they trying to do this, where you can get a professional setup and how to do it, and you don't need all the gadgets and the gizmos that I have, but I'm willing to tell you what I have and what I'm working with. And you'd be so surprised that you would think it's brand new stuff. A lot of this stuff is not brand new stuff. But I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of what I'm using, you guys. This is why I'm so proud of it, because I'm the one person that tries to get all the use cases out of all the equipment that I have. This right here is a 2013 MacBook. This is it's 12 years old, basically, about to be 13 years old. But this is what I use in order for you guys to see the stuff on the screen. So I have whatever that's playing on the screen right here, as you see, is coming off of this MacBook here. So the Chicago stuff and all that is showing on here. That's everything coming through there. And, so I could pull up all my stories, do my research while we're talking. Right here, you guys can't see right here, but this is my Mac Mini. I got my video. Oh, I got my video coming. Should I tell you? Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm doing, because I'm excited about it. I'm super excited. I got my device right here, which is a YOLO Box Ultra. And I'm doing my whole live stream off of this device. And I've been working and dealing with YOLO Box for a long time, for the last 4 years. And I made a lot of money with it. Okay. But this is, it has allowed me to do. I did the inauguration with one of these things 4 years ago. When Mayor Tim Grimel and the new the 11th council, I think that's the 11th council, when they all got sworn in at the Strand Theater, was done with a YOLO Box. You know what I'm saying? So, but this is just the newer version, but I have my video coming out into my Mac Mini, which you guys can't see right here, which is a newer Mac, but it's a Mac Mini right here. And I got my video coming out of this wire into here, which is going going into TikTok. So my TikTok people are watching me over here off of this box right here, off of this device. I have YouTube and Facebook going. And then my audio, I got some stuff going on my audio. I got to hook up another camera because you guys can see. You see that computer back there? Well, guys, I know you can't hear any background noise right now. Like, I am next to a water heater, the furnace, the sub pump is right over there, not too far from me. Like, there's a bunch of noise in the background that you guys can't even hear right now. So I'm about to be quiet. You see how you didn't hear nothing? Because I got all of my audio going through this machine back here, which is an old 2015 MacBook. And I got Logic Pro and Reason, this were music softwares, but I have my audio porting through this device right here. I have a mixer right here. So my microphone is hooked to this mixer right here that's going to this computer, and this computer is being routed all the way to this audio device, which is going into here, which is going into this thing, and it's cleaning up all of my audio. So it's a lot of wiring and tech going on right here, but I'm real proud of my setup. I finally got it the way that I need it. I kind of got things, well, not kind of, I got things how I want them and how they need to be in order for me to go ahead and do what I want to do. And it's going to be easier for me to go ahead and invite guests and do all these extra things that I do. I like to invite guests and guests be a part of the shows and stuff like that. So really, really this is a big asset to the show that I'm doing. Right now, I know we are getting close to late night is 10:51. So we're going to be probably signing off in a second. But I'd just like to thank you all for just tuning in. I had a great conversation with Mr. Marcus Bowman. And who knows, I think tomorrow morning, quite honestly, guys, I might get up since everything. This is my first time before when you guys see me do live streams, I was doing it off another program and another setup. Like the last live stream that I seriously did was the election one. And I did it off a different setup. So this one is a different setup, but this is the one that I permanently want to use from home, and and things like that. So, so I'd like to thank you for being a part of this setup. It makes things it makes things easier, me accomplishing everything that I want to do on the setup version. So tomorrow we go ahead and get up tomorrow. We do a new show in the morning. I'm going to get up in the morning pretty early, like usual, and we will have a new show because there's plenty of news to talk about. So we're going to get up and we're going to pick a story and we're going to talk about that. There's plenty of things to talk about. So let's go ahead and, I'm going to play some outro music, and, I hope you guys... I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And, at the end of the day, like I say, it's all about, all I'm trying to accomplish with this and this show is give people a mature, fun conversation involved, have fun, give somebody, my platform is your platform. And giving people opportunity to speak on some things that they may want to talk about, and not only just political people, you know what I mean, but people that's doing anything. And any and everybody is invited on the show. I know we got to totally agree with you. I got a lot of different political views than other people. I mean, I really do. I got a lot of other views from other people. It doesn't stop me from being cool with you just because we see things different. You know what I mean? We just see things different, and that's the way, and that's okay, and that's cool with me. That's cool that we can see things, that I can see things different from people and still get along with them. And that's what it's all about, how we can, us as people overall, I notice, you know, when people don't even agree with people, even during this last election, it was funny, y'all, because I seen something that kind of trickled down from the national election to the local election. I noticed how the national election actually separated people. It really separated people, friendships and all that type of stuff. And I never really saw that before. Never really saw that before. Thank you, Stephanie Spears Booth. Tune in tomorrow. We're gonna have some more fun. But I'm gonna do it in the morning and then maybe in the evening. That's the national election drove a wedge in a lot of people's relationship, right? And then I noticed that also during the city election, the local election, where it drove a spear between a wedge between a lot of people. That was actually cool with each other. And it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the end of the day, you can have different political views. That does not dictate how I feel about you. I don't probably agree with your politic, or I don't agree with your stance on this issue or that issue, and that's fine. That don't mean that we have to be enemies and not friends. If we was cool once upon a time, why can't we be still cool? We just got different ideas, you know? I don't know. I just don't operate like that, you know? But thank you for tuning in, Stephanie Spears Booth. We're going to be on tomorrow morning and going from there. So, with that being said, y'all, we're going to get ready to get on out of here. I hope y'all have a good night, and I hope that you guys sleep tight. Have a good work day tomorrow. I do plan to be on tomorrow morning, but if somehow I'm not, I still want y'all to have, you know, a good time, and a good time. I ain't gonna say a good time at work. Who does? Unless it's your payday tomorrow. But I want you guys to have a good day, get that over with, and enjoy your weekend, and go Blue, go Lions. They need to get their shit together, you know. But y'all have a good day tomorrow, and hopefully we see you tomorrow morning, and we get some more talk time in. All right, my people, y'all be easy. One. Yo, peace. Y'all have a good one. One love. Y'all have a good one. I'll give y'all a little rap on y'all way out. I hope you have a good day, maybe Friday, maybe a Saturday. Hopefully everything goes your way. Get money, good relationship, and something to sip. Maybe your day will go perfect. Just lean back, ain't it worth it? You deserve a brighter day. And just listen to Sante. Maybe in the morning, maybe when you're yawning. Oh, the beat changing. Let's see if I can get another verse. Come on, beat. Come on, beat. I was just rhyming. I was a rapper at once upon a time. Okay. I like this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It take me old school. How I feel about the old dudes as I drink. Cause you know your boy is old cool. Sitting back, old school, riding Lincoln Pool. I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good night. And this is Sante talking to you. And I'll get with you guys tomorrow. One love.